Hi guys! Welcome to episode 3 of the Dirty Knitting Hippie podcast. My name is Kristen and I am coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area where I live with my husband, my 2 kids, and our dog Guinness, the Wonder Lab. I am Tyler's mom, Chris, on Ravelry, and on Instagram I am Dirty Knitting Hippie, and I will put my contact information below so that you can find me. So welcome back. I have been missing in action. I thought I'd be back a few weeks ago, but I had surgery, and yeah, it took a little bit more out of me than I thought it would. So recording was kind of an extra at that point. You will notice that I am actually on my bed. I spent quite a bit. I have been here pretty much the majority of the last month, with the exception of my pretty meaty rehab program. So I have my laptop is actually propped up on some equipment on my bed, and I am hoping not to shake it too much. I started recording earlier, and I noticed that if I move, we get a little bit of a jitter. So I will attempt to not make everybody motion sick, including me. So welcome. I'm excited to be back, and I'm kind of twitching to podcast. I've been thinking about this for a little bit, but like I said, it's been a little bit more of a ride than I thought it would be, and so I will talk about my little blather at the end, and yeah, I'll give an update there. So let's get started. I'm excited. So I actually thought I would be knitting a lot more than I am. So I only have one finished object, and it was the Frida Baby Cardigan by Kirsten Hipsky, and I did finish it, and I gifted it to the recipient. I didn't take a picture. That was kind of a fail. So I do have a picture that I will insert. It's not a gorgeous picture. It's me just as I was about to finish it, without the button band, but that's as close as I have until baby arrives, and hopefully she gives me a picture of baby in the sweater. But it was a really fun project. I enjoyed knitting it. I had used Valley yarns, which is the Web's exclusive brand. So it was Valley Superwash DK in the fawn color. Really nice yarn, and such a great value. I had picked it up at Stitches, and it was not very expensive, and it was really soft. And as I was knitting, you know, I wasn't sure if there would be any pilling or fluffing. There was nothing. It was great. In fact, it was so soft. Perfect for baby knits. I actually am considering using it for a sweater for myself because I really enjoyed it. It's a nice, like I said, it's a really nice value yarn, and it was 100% merino superwash, so you can't beat the deal. They came in 50-gram balls, so I want to say it was like maybe $5 for the ball. I bought it at Stitches, so I don't know if it was like a show special, but I want to say it was probably full price. So really nice. But I do have some works in progress. Like I said, I'm not doing a ton of knitting. I'm just starting to knit a little bit more. I was having a really hard time concentrating initially, and so much so that I actually took the baby cardigan to the hospital with me, thinking, you know, I'd work on the sleeves as I was getting ready for surgery. Like sometimes you have a nice little gap of time where they're not poking at you getting ready. And apparently I woke up at 5:30 the morning after surgery and thought it would be a great idea to knit a baby gift on pain meds. And my nurses came in at 5:30 in the morning and said, "Wow, you're knitting." And not only did she say that, she said, "Oh, I knit and crochet. Can I see what you're making?" She's like, "Wow." I went back and looked at it about a week and a half later, and I had to pull it all out because it was exciting. There were a lot of decreases in the middle of the sleeve, and yeah, it was pretty exciting. So I had to redo almost an entire sleeve that I didn't have a lot of memories at the time of knitting, so let that be a lesson. No knitting on pain meds. So my first work in progress. I had mentioned I really am trying to embrace sock knitting this year. And part of my cast on party before surgery was included some vanilla socks using the Cozy Knitters yarn. I had never used it before, and I was really excited to use it because I was able to snag one of her updates. And so I chose this, which is her Bliss base. It's a self-striping yarn. It's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 repeats of the color. And it's her Bliss base, which is a 80/20, I believe, superwash merino. This is the his and hers colorway, and you can kind of see those colors. They're pretty true to what I'm looking at here, so I really enjoy it. It wasn't the softest in the skein, but as I'm knitting, it's pretty soft. And then I know once I block these, they're going to really soften up. I'm excited to see what these do. So I have, this is how much I have done of my, the first sock I started working on. I needed to just have something that was really mindless knitting. So I did just a vanilla sock, 64 stitches with 2.25 millimeter needle, size 1. These are my Chalgu DPNs that I was kind of taking for a test drive. So I'm actually, I knit mine cuff down. It's a lot of string, or a lot of yarn kind of hanging off of here. So I knit mine top down. I did a 2-inch 2x2 ribbing at the top. This is about a maybe a 6-inch leg with including the cuff. Put an afterthought heel, which I've just removed the waste yarn, and then I'm actually at the end of my sock. I'm about to start the toe. I'm going to use, she included, which I don't have it in here, she included contrasting yarn for heels and toes, which is just plain white, which matches this white here. So it was a really nice yarn to knit with. So that's sock number 1. And then I concurrently knit my socks on DPNs, which I'm actually finding I really enjoy. I don't have second sock syndrome, which I know some people kind of struggle with, but I am finding on, this is, I want to say pair number 8 of socks, that I'm actually okay just knitting one and then coming back and knitting another. I started knitting them concurrently on my last pair of socks, just kind of by accident. It wasn't purposeful, but I needed something that was really mindless, and so I had an extra set of DPNs and my yarn was already separated, so I started second number sock and I thought, this is great. It's almost like assembly line knitting. So on sock number 2, I just put in my waste yarn, and I'm starting in on the foot. These are kind of cool. They are zings, so Knit Pro Zings, 2.25, obviously, since the other is a 2.25. I have seen these on other podcasts, and I was really wanting to get my hands on them. But they're not sold in the US, so I found a shop in Germany on Etsy. Wool Welt is where I found them. They were really reasonable. shipping was more than my needles, but even with shipping and the needles, it was under $15 for a set of DPNs, which I think is pretty reasonable for a nice quality set. So I'm loving them. A lot of people have kind of compared them to, let's see, I'll put them up here. Kind of compared them to signatures, and which I also use. When I rub my nail on them, signatures have like this little bit of graded ridge to them that if I were to rub my nail on, it's so subtle, but you can feel it. It gives the needle a tiny bit of grab. These don't have it, so they're actually a little bit smoother than my signatures. The point between the yellow or goldish yellow and the silver, I can't even feel. It's invisible, which I love. I know sometimes when you have needles where you have two different materials or two different pieces of the same material, you'll feel like a little bit of a ridge or something. I'm not feeling it, which is amazing. The tips on these are clearly not as sharp as a stiletto. They didn't come, oops, I just threw it across the room. It didn't come with the warning that you may impale yourself. Bonus, I won't hurt myself on this DPN. At least they're not giving me a disclaimer. But they're great. I actually am in love with these needles. They're incredibly light, which I love. I have some other DPNs that I use that are not quite as light because I'm finding I enjoy knitting my socks concurrently. I have 3 pair kind of in the works right now. And out of those 3 pair, they're all being knit on different brands of DPNs. So this pair has Gu and these Knit Pro Zings. I have another pair that has carbons and high sharp DPNs, and then I have another pair that I'm knitting on Signature and Knit Picks DPNs. So I'm getting quite a bit of experience with different brands, and I've mentioned before I love trying needles. Needles are my they're my weakness. I love tools. I love notions. I love yarn, but the tools, they've got my heart. So so I tend to try every kind of needle I can get my hands on. But these, I'm in love with these. In fact, I'm going to try, I haven't ordered them yet, but I'm going to try some of their fixed circulars to see if I love them just as much. I think I will, but sometimes sometimes circulars and DPNs just feel a little bit different in your hands. But I'm excited to try them. So I'll place an order and get a couple of sizes that I tend to use quite a bit. So yeah, those are my vanilla socks. Like I said, I'm enjoying them. One of my socks, I have this total love affair with You So and So. Her bags are incredible, and I'm kind of embarrassed to admit, but I have quite a big, a lot of acquisitions to show you. But one of the things I got was this little needle cozy from her, and these cute little sheep, and on the inside she has this really cute like heart fabric. Oh, I just noticed. Wow, I'm really observant. There's knitting needles in there. I'm a genius. What can I say? I'm really observant. I noticed the hearts, but I didn't notice the rest of it. So, lovely. But I'm keeping one of my socks in this needle cozy, and yep, the other one I'm just keeping in this little cozy I made at one point. It's being stored in this bag, which I just got, It is from Mitchell's Fiber Creations, and I really like the length of this handle. In the past, I haven't really used or liked these handles, but I had my first outing yesterday to knitting group. My first time out of the house by myself, where my husband actually dropped me off. But it was nice because I could carry this on crutches, which was awesome. So she has, it's not a pocket in here. It's actually a really nice size for socks, but I love this fabric. It's like a metallic chevron. And then her little label is right here in this loop, which I also kind of like. So that's where these socks are living. Hopefully they'll be done pretty soon. Yeah, so that's work in progress number 1. Let's see. Work in progress number 2 is I started my Cozy Memories blanket. And I think the last I showed, I had one little square. I've made a bit of progress. I am starting, clearly, I don't like weaving in ends. I don't know anyone who does, although maybe someone does. So I've got, let's see, this was my first square. And then I feel like I'm pulling a rabbit or scarves out of a hat like a magician. So a lot of these, actually, I'll go from the top. So this is Lorna's Laces shepherd sock in her Vera colorway. And I made a pair of Rose City rollers out of that. And I really like the yarn. That was my first square. And then from here down, that was all yarn that I got in a mini swap. And so I was trying to use some of that up. This is Felici, Knit Picks Felici, and I made just my very first pair of vanilla socks out of. Yeah, it's pretty soft this way. So I want to say it's the Countess colorway, but I could be wrong. These two are also from the same swap that I did. All these other yarns that I just shown you came from the same person. I've had them in my stash for about 3 years, so I'm sorry I don't remember who it was. This one is from Mitchell's Fiber Creations, and I just bought, there we go. It was a swapless swap from the Naughty Knitwits podcast. So I received this one, oh, this one is Motion Sickness, which I actually love. It's got some fluorescent green and some teals and grays. It matches my shoes, which I love. So, and then this is Anzula Squishy in the sexy, well, that's a terrible, it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's like a natural dark taupish color. And it's an MCN. It was the first MCN I'd ever worked with, and I believe I made a Reina out of it. It's really soft. And then I am up starting my second row because it's pretty long. I really just want, yeah, it's so long that you can't see the whole thing. Oh, more. It's about my wingspan, which is, you know, pretty small. It's just the right size for me to cuddle under width-wise, so I didn't want to make it huge, just kind of like a lapgan. I'm starting on my second row, and this is a yarn that I use to make a shawl with, and I don't remember which shawl. I can picture it, but I can't remember it, so I'll put the name below if I if I go find it. But it's a Matosh that I'm actually really loving as well. It made a beautiful shawl, and I'm happy to put it in my blanket. So it kind of looks like this was the focus of what I was doing. I needed some really mindless stuff to work on. Even at that, I was really struggling a bit with the mindless. So I didn't get as much knitting as I wanted to done. But oh, and these are signature size 3.25 millimeter. Let's see. Yeah, 3.25 millimeter size 3, which is US 3. They're just little straights that Signature makes, and I want to say they're probably like maybe a 6-inch needle. It's really short, which is enjoyable to work with. It's not something that I would use on most projects, but it's nice because they just live in the bag as I'm working. And I don't feel like I'm taking them away from any other project. So this is being housed in my You So and So bag. It's Stories of Wonderland. It's an Alice in Wonderland theme. I saw this bag on Instagram. Actually, I saw the fabric before she sewed these bags, and fell in love. I mean, Alice in Wonderland is an incredible story. Lewis Carroll, I love Lewis Carroll. But the great thing about this bag is that inside, the fabric is part of the story. I absolutely love, I mean, it's kind of full, so you're going to have to, like, excuse the chaos in my bag. But she has a really nice size pocket in here. She's got kind of a nice size handle. It's also got this absolutely, I loved it, the Cheshire Cat zipper pull. I really love these bags. I know I gush about them every single time, but they are so incredibly beautifully made. I've sewn longer than I've knit, and I will say that her sewing skills are just gorgeous. She is really talented. So she's got a little label here too. So if you go to yousoandso.com, she does a store update every Sunday typically. She has some just gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. And this is her large size, I believe. It's a really nice, for right now, it's a nice size for my Cozy Memories. It's probably not going to live in here forever because the bag will eventually be too small for it. But this would be a nice size for like a shawl, kind of a medium project. A little bit too big for socks unless you're doing like several socks at a time. But a shawl, like a multi-skein shawl, or like a baby sweater would be nice. It's a good start for my Cozy Memory blanket. It's really nice, and she has a really nice interfacing, so her bags are almost quilted. They're very squishy. They're not it's not a stiff bag, but it's got some nice substance to it. It's just, I would say I have 5 of her bags, I believe. And while I love my earlier bags from her, these ones coming out of her shop right now are just incredible. She's doing some really exciting things. She's just gotten into embroidery, so if you check her out on Instagram, you'll see some of her her embroidery panels that she's putting on bags. You'll see her fabrics that she gets in, and then you'll see some of the bags that she updates her shop with. But The other thing is she has what she calls sheeplets, and it's a reward program. So when you purchase a bag from her and you sign up for her sheeplets rewards program, you'll earn points that are discounts on further purchases or future purchases. So check her out. She's awesome. Yeah. So so there's my Cozy Memories blanket. I have one other work in progress that I showed you last time, and I hadn't I had just gotten to a place where I was adding the purple. I almost feel like I shouldn't be showing this to you because I haven't really done much. I think I did 1, 2, 3 rows of my contrast. But this is the Pure Joy Shawl by Joji Locatelli, which is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. I wanted to try, I hadn't tried any of Joji's patterns yet, so I wanted to try this. So I cast it on. I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. I started it, I did a couple of the contrast rows, and then I need to figure out where I am on the pattern. So there. The progress creep. Well, let me go back. Okay, so this lighter color yarn is 100% merino. It's yarn that I dyed myself. And then my contrast is this purpley blue mix. Oh, that actually shows up quite well. It's a little bit less vibrant in person, more muted tones, but it's getting a little bit washed out with the white wall, I think, behind me. But it's, this one is also dyed by me, and it's got a stellina, like a gold stellina. It is, yeah, merino, stellina, and nylon. So, yeah, so I like it. The progress keeper on here was a Sucre Miniatures. It's like a little iced coffee. It's very cute. But I just started working on this again this week. So I haven't made much progress. It's being knit on size 6. US 6, 4.0 millimeter. These are my signature. They're called Convertibles, which I like. And then being housed in my Harry Potter bag that I sewed myself. Yeah. So that's it for my works in progress. Kind of feeling like I'm not doing much, but as I have felt better, I'm starting to knit more, and I'll probably continue to knit quite a bit more now that I'm feeling like I'm a little over the hump. Yeah, so there we are. Let's see. Okay, I'm a little embarrassed to show this. I have some acquisitions. Kind of a lot. So I'm a little embarrassed. One of the things I realized was that I ordered quite a bit that first week and a half. I had a few things that I ordered before surgery, so I can't blame it all on that. But my husband one day came to me and said, "Hey, are you excited about the mail?" And I said, "No, mail is never exciting unless you get things or money." And he said, "Well, it looks like you had a bit of a spending binge." And he wasn't mad. He thought it was funny. He said, I think there should be a warning on the pain med bottles that you shouldn't shop while on pain meds." Because I apparently had the first couple days had ordered a few things while on some pretty significant pain relief. like I said, some of this was done before surgery, so I can't blame it all on that, but some wasn't. Yeah, so here we go. Don't judge. Let's see, what shall I start with? I'm going to start with, well, so I showed you a couple things. The zings were ones that I purposely purchased. That I can't blame on anything other than wanting to try needles, and I knew full well what I had done. And the 2 bags. So those were purposeful purchases, meaning I knew full well what I had done. I purchased some progress keepers from Sucra, who I really love. Her sculpting is so whimsical and lifelike, and yeah, so I purchased a peach progress keeper. You see the little, there's the leaf. So a little peach, which is very cute, and a bubblegum ice cream. What is that? Look at the bubblegum balls. So those were quite fun. I'll stick with progress keepers because I bought a couple more. These were from, I have to look at my show notes. Pitter Patter Polymer on Etsy. And I kind of stalk Michelle from the Naughty Knitwit podcast. Hey, Michelle. Please don't think I'm goofy. So she had posted Peeps Progress Keeper, and it was really cute. So I went to check out stuff from Pitter Patter Polymer's shop. And she had so many fun things, but I bought this little chocolate Easter bunny, which is so cute. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. Let's see, that's not very good. There we go. Oh, good gravy. Okay, there we are. Less spastic. Okay. But while I was in her shop, I found these progress keepers, and I think as evidence from podcast number 1, you all know that I have the maturity of about a 10-year-old sometimes. And I saw these amazing progress keepers, and I had to buy them. Okay. I'm going to hold them both up at the same time. This also, oops, I dropped it. This also comes from having boys. So mothers of boys, you might get my potty humor, but literally potty humor. Okay. So we have a poop with this cute little face right there, and toilet paper with eyes. So I saw these, and I literally could not stop laughing. There was also one other one that I didn't buy. It was a little drop of pee. And I didn't know if I wanted like pee, poop, and paper, or just poop and paper. So I got the poop and paper, and these are amazing. I tried to keep everything in one spot for when I was going to podcast, because otherwise it would have gotten everywhere. So I haven't used them. Now that I've shown them, they're coming out in full effect. You may see these on every single podcast because they're amazing. But she sent this cute little box, and I thought, oh, how delicate and sweet. And inside we have poop. So that was awesome. So thank you for having such an amazing sense of humor stuff, because I love them. So thank you. So that's it for my progress keepers. I don't want to lose my, she put like a little note in here, which is very cute. Okay. We're about to get into the meat of it. I make no apologies. I may have a little embarrassment, but no apologies. So I bought, and this one is from Rosie Retro, and I purchased this really sweet, it's like a sock bag, and it's got little London buses, but it also has like bus stops, the bus stations on there. So that was a lot of fun. The inside is this gingham red fabric, and there is a little carabiner. I'll take the plastic off. A little red carabiner, which is nice. You can hook your keys on there, or whatever else you'd like to carry. And then this cute little ribbon where the carabiner is attached. It says Best of British with a British flag. And her little hang tag. It's a little drawstring bag. So very cute. Perfect for socks. It's got a flat bottom too, which is nice. Because it's the perfect size for socks, I also got the DPN cozy. So there we are. So that goes a little matching set. So cute. I like when shop owners send little extras. I mean, you don't expect them and they're fun. So I was very happy when I opened my package from her. I mean, it was exciting because it came from the UK and I was like, oh, you know, look at the fun stamps. And I just ordered something from across the pond, so that's fun. But she also included some Twinings Detox Tea, a cute little sheet button. That was a lot of fun. A lemon fresh wipe, which is going right in my bag because I'm always looking for things like that. And then she sent these cute little, oh my god, my brain is zapped. Markers, stitch markers. I have no excuses for this lack of a word. So that was fun, and they're really cute. There's a little red flower, a little blue star, and just this cute little globe bead. So that was really nice. I really appreciated the little extras that were sent along. So thank you to those makers who put that little extra stuff. It's very sweet. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I bought some yarn. Not like a ton. Well, okay, I bought yarn. The Cozy Knitter had her shop update, and I am washing it. There we go. This is her Iris colorway, and it is, again, her Bliss base, which is an 80-20 superwash merino, 20% nylon. 115 grams, 420 yards. So there's a 30-gram mini, which is for heels and toes, and or whatever you use it for. I guess not everybody makes socks out of her yarn, but I will be using this for socks. And 85 grams in the stripes. So so that means 42.5 grams per sock, which works out quite nicely. That's what I've done on my other pair of vanilla socks that I showed. Makes a really nice size, and there's some leftovers. So so yeah, I'm excited to knit with this. You can see like it's a very Eastery looking, done for my face. Very Eastery looking, and the colors are not showing up. This is kind of like it's a green, almost like a mint green, but it's coming up as teal, but purple, yellow, mint green, light purple. I actually am not sure how many stripes are in this. 1, 2, maybe 4 stripe repeat. Yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait to start these. So that's acquisition yarn number 1. Now the rest of this may be a little biased, but I just bought my first skein from Groovy Hues. So Suzanne is the, this is her card. Suzanne is the dyer at Groovy Hues, and I've really wanted to try her yarn. I've watched her on several groups that we're in together, and just kind of seen a lot of what she's done, and it's gorgeous. She has a really nice eye for color, but she has a really good sense of humor, and so it does occasionally come out in her yarn in terms of names and stuff. So this is my first skein that I had purchased from her, and it's got some, like over here, it's like a rose color mixed with a little bit of tan in there, some cream, this really nice brown that it's like a rusty brown, this beautiful like bluish color that kind of yeah, it's kind of mixed in with the natural color. There's gray, more of this blue, and this color is called Josh Groban is My Secret Boyfriend. This is on her Cuddly and Groovin base. It is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 100 grams, and it's 463 yards, and it is really, really soft. And the colors are just incredible. The lighting in here is, I have a light over on there, and I have a window over here, so it's, this one actually, it looks pretty close. I know some of the other stuff I've shown is not totally close to reality. But I love her. When I first opened this one, I was so in love with it. Then she had a, I think it was purchased on the same shop update. I can't remember. But I have a couple more that I purchased together. So this one is on her Lavishly Groovin base, which is merino cashmere silk. I have not knit with merino cashmere silk. I've knit with merino cashmere nylon, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So I am excited to try this. This is called Cafe Creme. They're like natural kind of browns. This right down here is like a taupey color. But then there's flecks of like burgundy in here, which are gorgeous. And this, God, it's almost like a glaze. It's, I don't even know what color that would be. It's like a, almost like a deep purple over a gray. So this is, it would be this color, which looks more purple than it is showing up in real life. And then little flecks of brown in here. This one, I'm thinking a shawl. It's one you just want to have near your face. It's so soft. It's incredible. So this is 100 grams, 437 yards. And I'm really excited to use this. It's so soft and squishy. Okay, so then this one, the colors are, oh, those are nice. It's very fall-like. I mean, it's called Tweed on Toast. That's the colorway. It's the Tweedy and Groovin sock, which is 85-15 superwash merino nylon. It's a tweed yarn, so you'll see little flecks of like net stuff in here. Browns and golds and yellows, and oranges. This orange is just a really kind of deep, like fall orange. Both of these I think will be not together. They don't go together. But I'm thinking shawl or cowl or something that I think this one I'd like to wear as a cowl. But it's gorgeous. And out of these three, I've been increasingly happy with with her yarn. It's really, really nice. And then this one. This is called Single and Groovin, which is the Sparkle Edition. It's 95.5 merino, 95 merino, 5% stellina. The colorway is Bourbon and Fuzzy Slippers Always Mix, and it's 100 grams, 400 yards. It's a single. So purples and a little bit of, it almost looks like a greenish yellow, pinks, burgundies. You can see the stellene in there. It's very sparkly. It's a single, which is not something that will do well with a lot of friction. Singles tend to pill. This, without going into too much detail, was purchased to support Suzanne. She had taken a very public stand against something that was just not okay, and she lost a sale. Well, she didn't lose a sale. She put morals and ethics above her business in taking that stand, and that was really, I respected her incredibly for just being a good person. So I ended up buying this. It was something that, yeah, I wanted to support her. So go check out Groovy Hues. Not only is she an incredible dyer, but she's a good egg. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. She posts frequent updates. She's doing quite a few shows right now, so she's doing a lot of dyeing. I've been watching her progress on Facebook and Instagram, and she's got a lot of incredible stuff coming out. She had some Hamilton stuff that she just posted an update on, and what else did she have? I don't remember the other ones, but some really tempting stuff. I'm tempted to go buy more, but I kind of, I try not to be a total pig. Clearly that didn't work lately, but yeah, go check her out. She's awesome. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, and also I forgot to say, I got tea from her. A couple sachets of tea, and actually one of them was this Tulsi Sweet Rose. It came in one of my packages, and it's from India. It's holy basil. I think it's okay. So organic India Tulsi holy basil sweet rose, stress relieving and magical. Magical is always nice, and it smells really good. I'm not going to shove it up to my nose right now, but it smells really good. And then a little sachet of rooibos and honeybush tea from Trader Joe's. I love their tea, so thank you for including that. That was a nice touch. I appreciate that. Okay, so this was the last of the yarn. And I actually just received it yesterday, so I am crinkling a little bit. I'll just hold it up. Okay, so this is from Beach Bum Yarn. She has two different names on her shop, though. Beach Bum Yarn and the Rainy Apple Shop. And I purchased these. They're a set of, they're not quite minis, but I'm assuming it's a whole 100 grams. That's what it feels like. And this is the Apple Farm. I'm sorry. I'm going to open this and get the name. Okay. Retro Apron. It is not Apple. Retro Apron, which is 75/25 superwash merino nylon. Wow. 460 yards, 100 grams, so 92 yards each. Wow, that's awesome, actually. So it's a mini set. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with these yet, but I really like the colors, and I wanted to try something new. And I will say that I had actually ordered something else. She was having a sale on some of these. Oh, here, you can kind of see. Some of these yarns were being discontinued in her shop. And so she posted them, and I went in her shop, and I'd actually ordered something else. And I received an Etsy conversation, like, not even 5 minutes later. She was, like, on top of this and, like, apologized, saying, I'm really sorry. I hadn't removed that from my shop. It's not available. I'm happy to refund it or whatever. And I was just blown away, like, that it was so responsive, and, you know, it was really nice customer service. Not only that, we're friends on Facebook, and so she sent me an instant message, like, 2 minutes later and said, you know, the same thing. I'm really sorry. It's no longer available. I apologize. And I was, like, really, really impressed with her customer service. That she was just on it, and so I didn't want to not get anything because I really wanted to try her yarn. So I asked her, you know, what other colorways were available, and I would be happy to choose from any of those because they were all really pretty. And she said that this one was available, and actually that was my initial first choice. So I wasn't at all disappointed. And I was really happy with her customer service. I will definitely be returning to Beach Bum Yarn Apple, the Rainy Apple shop, to buy more. I was like, with someone I don't know, to start kind of small and try it out first. And her customer service alone was just top notch. So I was really happy. It took less than a week to get it to me. I think I ordered it maybe Tuesday, and it came here from Massachusetts, and it arrived yesterday, which was Saturday. So it was fantastic. I was quite happy with it. So I will definitely be returning. I would return based on the customer service alone. So we had a really nice conversation back and forth, and I was happy to with what I ended up with, and so I'm quite happy overall. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. The colors are a little outside of my comfort zone, which is part of the reason I ordered it. I wanted to try something that, like, yellow is not a color I would typically buy, but it's a beautiful yellow, and the greens, I love green. I'm over here looking at it. And the reds are really pretty. So it'll be color work in something. I don't know what, but I'm quite happy with it. So yeah, so that was great. And then, okay, so I have a couple more things. I have another bag. Well, I have another 2 bags. I bought this one. This is another Use So and So bag. And like I said, I'm pretty obsessed with her bags. But look at the inside. It matches perfectly. It's a companion fabric to this bag, which I believe is called Octopus's Garden. And it's it has 2 pockets inside, not just one, but 2. It has a nice wrist strap, and it has her, it's got a little sheep, let me hold this better, a little sheep zipper pull. This is kind of one that I have on a couple other bags, I think. Yeah, I'm looking at another bag across the room, and it's really sweet. This is her jumbo bag, so this would be great. It covered my whole face. It would be great size for like a sweater, or a larger project. I'm thinking that cozy memory blanket at some point will be relocated to this bag. It's got a nice flat bottom, and I just love the fabric. So again, it's got that really nice squishy feel to it. She uses a really nice interfacing, And I love looking at her seams. One of the things that I tend to notice are the small details in sewing. And she is obviously an accomplished seamstress. So, and she's got so many fun fabrics. Again, I know I said this before, and I know I totally gush over her, but when I find a maker that I really like, I keep going back. And there's a reason. It's because they have really nice quality stuff, and they know what people enjoy, and what sells well. And she has some great service. So that was from You So and So. Then I'm kind of bouncing back and forth with this lady's shop. And I showed one of her bags earlier, so I'll bring it back. So this is also from Mitchell's Fiber Creations. So I got these 2 bags. And these are the happiest looking alpacas ever. They have such a smug look. And I just cracked up when I saw this. And let's see. The inside fabric is really pretty. I love that. So I have a small bag, which is a nice sock size. And that was this Day of the Dead Sugar Skull fabric. And that's a great sock size from her. And then this alpaca bag is a little bit bigger. I would say it's a nice size for like a cowl or a shawl. A really generous wrist strap, which I like. And it's nice because it's removable. You could even maybe clip your keys on here, so that's nice. This is her tag. I kept it on this one because I haven't used the bag yet. I'll just hold it up there so you can see. I will put all of this information in the show notes. But I've purchased some yarn from her. I purchased, well, in my Cozy Memories, the Swapless Swap from the Naughty Knitwit podcast. I had purchased her yarn from there, and I really liked it. Super fast shipping, and her customer service was really, really nice. She, along with us, sent this really sweet little mini that I'm going to use. It's not showing up very vibrant here, but it's fluorescent. And it's called Trippy Hippy. It's awesome. I opened this, I'm like, wow, I really like this. And then I looked at the name, and I was like, oh, spot on. This is amazing. So this is going straight into my cozy memory blanket, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that. She has also posted in the Ravelry group. There is a Ravelry group, and I have not been very active in it. Like I said, I was not feeling very well. I'm actually going to go and pull up Ravelry. But in the Ravelry group, I have a thread that is for makers. If you have, a shop, please feel free to advertise in there. I want to support makers because I am a former Etsy shop owner. Years ago when I sewed more, I had a shop in there, and I know it's hard. I mean, it's really tough. My kids were young, and owning a shop is a big responsibility. You're dealing with lots of people from all over, and they don't care if you have a family, you have deadlines. You need to get things to them. I had sold quite a bit to other boutiques, and it's tough. It's really tough. So I like to support other makers and give them a place to advertise. I also, so Tara is the creator and maker from Mitchell's. She made these beautiful bags, and the yarn that I showed. She has generously posted a coupon code, and I'll post it right here, and it is SPRING, capital SPRING, and you get 10% off your purchase. Minimum purchase $5 and not valid on Naughty Knit with Swap Bliss Swap Minis. So go and check out her shop and please support her. She's a really nice person, beautiful craftswoman, and she's got some gorgeous things, and I've really enjoyed. I'm looking at Ravelry to get that. I'm not surfing my phone, and so I've really enjoyed looking at her shop. She's got some gorgeous stuff. Her eye for color is so much fun. A lot of fluorescent and bright colors, which are a lot of fun. You know, combinations that are bright and fun, but just work really well together, which would be a lot of fun in color work. So go check her out. Please enjoy her shop. And okay, so that is kind of the end of my my little binge. I don't usually shop this much. I try not to be too crazy in the shopping. One, because we don't have a very big house, but number two, I don't like feeling a little overwhelmed by having too much yarn and stuff. But I feel like I knit through quite a bit of my stash, and so I didn't feel like it was too overwhelming. And I'm, like I said, I'm really happy to try new makers and new to me shops and products. So obviously You So-and-so is not new to me, but I love her. So yeah, so there's that. One thing that I mentioned on the last podcast was that I wanted to have a giveaway because I was really thankful for the welcome to the podcast community, and I was really blown away by the really kind reception. The amount of views was pretty humbling that first time out, and so I had decided I wanted to have a giveaway. And so I mentioned that I would, before my next podcast, if you join my Ravelry group and post it in the giveaway thread and subscribe, that I would draw a number. And I did. And it was for a skein of Acidville Dye Works. This is the skein that will be going out. And it's on her Swizzle Sock Merino Cashmere Nylon. I did mention that the group was new. There weren't that many people who had joined. It's still pretty small. So the chances of winning were incredible. There were just a few people that entered. So thank you for entering. And I did draw, and it was the person's Ravelry name was F. Cole, and she was the second poster in there. Her name is Fontrella. I hope I am not butchering this, Fontrella. And she's from Birmingham. So I will contact you on Ravelry to get your shipping information and send this off sometime this week. I'm still not driving at all. So my mother-in-law's here visiting for a couple months, pitching in with the driving. So we will be venturing out to the post office this week, or I will have my husband ship it from work for me. But it will be coming. I just want to let you know it's not going out tomorrow. So contact me with your information. I'll get it all ready and ship it out to you. So thank you, Fontrella, for supporting my podcast and the Ravelry group. I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoy this skein of yarn. I have a matching one. Maybe we could do like a twinsy project or something. But I hope you enjoy it. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm really loving these colors, and I hope you do too, so thank you. Okay, so I think I've gone through my finished object, my works in progress, my binge purchase, sorry, and the drawing. The last thing I like to do is give a tip. And so one of the things that is a really common question for new knitters, like maybe just moving past, like one thing I do when I teach people to knit, in fact, I just taught my mother-in-law how to knit while she has been here, is I always start with like size 10 bamboo needles, the straights, kind of the short straights. I think they're like a 10-inch or so. They're pretty short. And bulky yarn. It's easier to kind of see and get your hands around. But one thing that comes up when you get past that initial learning to knit and really deciding you like it is needle purchases. So one thing I always hear from not brand spanking new knitters, but maybe someone who's been knitting for a couple months and they're deciding they want to invest a little bit more in their knitting, is what kind of needles should I buy? What kind of needles do you own? What do you recommend? And this is a question that I asked when I was just starting to knit. And I asked a couple people. And they said Addy. Get some Addy rockets. Or Addy lace, I think that was it. And I went into a sort of local, we don't have a lot of local yarn shops that carried Addy. I called around and found, I think we had like 3 shops in the area, and I found out who carried the Addy, and I went in and was ready to buy them. And I had, in talking with the shop owner, she said, "Have you ever used these?" And I said, "Well, I know I haven't. This is my very first set of needles. I'm excited to buy them." And she said, "Put the brakes on. Why don't you sit at the table for, if you have some time, like half hour, 45 minutes, knit with them." And that was absolutely the best piece of advice she could have given me. She could have very easily said, "Well, thank you, Miss New Knitter. I'll take your money." And I'm really glad she did, because I didn't like them, like, at all. I'm sorry if you like Addies. But one of the things that she told me was, you're a brand new knitter. You don't have a lot of experience under your belt in terms of trying other needles. Try different ones out. In fact, if you could just go and purchase, a couple, sorry, my foot's itching. If you could go find like a few different kinds of needles, a few different kind of materials, try them out. And then once you narrow down the type of material you like, try more brands. And just keep trying them until you find something that makes your hands sing. That was absolutely the best advice I've ever received in terms of equipment. And it's something that I've kind of passed on. Every time I hear that question, I have the same response, because what ended up happening was, I think I bought a Knit Picks Try It kit, and it included the metal, which would be nickel. It included their wood, and it included a material they no longer work with, which was acrylic. So from those 3, I tried them out, and I decided I really liked the metal. Could not stand the acrylic at all. In fact, the very first time I used them, a tip broke off, like the tip of the needle broke off. Knit Picks has amazing customer service. They sent me out another pair. I broke those too. And that kind of goes to show sometimes those newer knitters also knit with a lot of force. I was wrapping my yarn really tightly. I used to be an incredibly tight knitter. Tight enough that I would bust 2 needles like literally just not very far into a project. Decided that probably wasn't a good fit for me. I tried, what did I try? I tried Takumi's, I tried the Knit Picks, I tried Knitter's Pride Platinas, I tried more Addies just to cross that off the list. I tried Boy, I tried Hi. Actually, what I ended up, and I'm sure I tried some other ones in there too. Because I have a huge collection of fixed needles. I ended up buying a fixed needle of a bunch of different brands and trying them out, giving them a nice run. What was really nice about that was that I could get a feel for not only the material that they used for the actual needle, but the cables, because different cables feel differently to different people. I mean, it all feels differently. Hands are subjective. I really found I was particular about my cables. I like a flexible cable. I found I don't like to feel my joins at all. That irritates me. I found that I like a really fast or slick metal. Even as a new knitter, kind of when I ventured outside of wood, I quickly progressed to metal and not just metal, but wanting something really fast. And the slicker the metal, I kind of felt like the faster I knit. And then I liked a really sharp point. So I ended up buying Hias. The other thing to take into consideration is the shaft on a needle comes in different lengths. 4, 5, and 6, I believe, on interchangeables. 5 is pretty average. 6, I saw a pair yesterday at Knitting Group. They were cubics, and they had a 6-inch shaft, which is not something that I've seen a lot of, but I know is out there clearly because I saw the pair yesterday. But my first set of interchangeable were 4-inch Hiya sharps, and I bought the small set and the large set, so I have the full range. I also bought the 9-inch set, and so those for me were perfect. I liked the 4-inch because I have pretty small hands, but I also knit kind of like with my fingertips, and I wanted to do a lot of, at the time I was making a lot of hats, so the 4-inch turns into a 16-inch needle. You can't do that with a 5. Well, okay, I'll take it back. I'm not aware of a brand that has a 5-inch tip that is a 16-inch needle. I think typically they're 4-inch. So I had a friend, and this is exactly why I always say try different needles. So I had a friend that had asked me what kind of needles I used, and I said I use 4-inch. I love them, and I showed her exactly what I have. She ended up buying them, the same ones I had, and hated them. I have, like I said, my knitting style, fingertips, very little of my palm. She doesn't have that same style of knitting, and she's a really tall person, and her hands are very large. It was a horrible fit. She was so uncomfortable, and she just, like, very early into trying those needles, like, pretty much from the get-go, she said, I hate them. I absolutely hate them. And they didn't take them back. So make sure you try. It's really important. We all have very different knitting styles. We all hold our needles very differently. We wrap differently. You know, knitting is all muscle memory. So, you know, my muscles are going to do something very different than somebody else's. You know, the way I learned is going to be different than the way someone else learns. You develop that muscle memory, and then your body just kind of settles into what's comfortable for it. And so, you know, when you choose your needles, it's the same thing. You want a match for the way your hands work and those muscles work. And you know, there are needles that I really would like to work for me. They're just not comfortable. So I've kind of accepted that it's just not a good fit. I also, once I got my Hias, I moved on. I wanted another set because I wanted stiffer cables. I found that after using my Hias for several years, my hands did start actually resting on the joins, and so I was breaking cables. Just from the friction of my palms kind of rubbing against the join. So I broke 3 cables, I think. But they've been used like a lot. It wasn't like I knit, you know, a half hour here and put it away for a week. It was like hours each day. So, you know, they were getting a lot of wear and tear. It wasn't the product. It was my style with that product. It wasn't a flawed product. So I ended up, I'd always said, you know, if I could find a needle that had a super sharp tip, a perfect joint, a swivel cable, which Hiya does, and a cable that didn't kink, would not break easily from my knitting style, and just felt good in my hands, I would buy it in a heartbeat. And I happened to come across a pair of Chalgu red lace, and I enjoyed them, so I ordered a couple more because it's cheaper to buy a single needle than a whole set. And then I liked them so much that I bought another interchangeable set. So those are actually a needle that I use more than my Hias now. I pull my Hias out for hats because I have a 4-inch tip on there, and I pull it out when I need a really flexible cable because they're very thin cables. The red lace cables are a metal cable wrapped in, it kind of reminds me of like a bike lock on a very thin scale. So like a wrapped metal cable. And I use those quite a bit. I've started using signatures more, but it's such a cost investment that I don't recommend those. Like when people ask me, you know, what needles do you recommend? Number one, I say, don't listen to me. But number two, so that might null and void this little tip I'm giving. But number two, I always say, get your hands on needles. Get your hands on a lot of needles. But then they might say, well, what do you use, and what do you like about them, and what do you not like about them? And I will say, get your hands on needles, but since you've asked, this is what I use, this is what I like, I rarely go straight to get signatures. I don't ever recommend them for a brand new knitter because the cost is just crazy. And yeah, I mean, I love the needles. They're my favorite, but it took me almost 6 years to move into them. So, I mean, hey, if you want to invest in them and spend a lot of money, go for it. I'm not gonna hold on to your ankles and say no, don't go. But I typically try and recommend, you know, number one, try everything, but number two, kind of a midline financial suggestion. So like a mid-price needle, or you know, try these. If cost is a concern, then look at these. Try these ones out. If cost is less of a concern, then get your hands on all these mid-range needles. If cost is not a concern, by all means, go grab some signatures because they're amazing and they're my happy spot. But as a new knitter, try them out. You know, you might find things that that you didn't think you would enjoy, and they happen to be your favorite. That I think I was really surprised when I finally ended up buying my first set of interchangeables, because it's not what I had set out to buy, but it's what I enjoyed. And so, you know, my hands know. I've learned, listen to my hands. They really and trust how they feel. If they feel good right out of the gate, then you're probably okay buying that set. If they're not feeling awesome, then like you just don't like them, then you know that's not the set for you. If they feel pretty good, get some hours in there, because you're going to be spending hours and hours with needles, doing the same motion over and over, and you know, you don't want your hands to be unhappy. The other thing too is it can lead to wrist fatigue, which could lead to carpal tunnel. So you want to make sure whatever you end up with, you enjoy, it feels good, it fits your budget, and it makes your hands sing. So that's my tip. And I think that covers all of the other stuff. I was going to give an update. I didn't want to give this in the beginning because not everybody really wants to hear, but some people have asked how I'm doing. So I had a pretty horrific injury to the bottom of my femur. I tore the cartilage that is adhered to the bottom of the cartilage or the cartilage that is adhered to the bottom of the femur in the knee. I don't know how I did it, but I tore it all the way up to the bone. Not only did I tear it all the way to the bone, I damaged the bone underneath. And so the only repair options were a transplant or a new knee, but I'm way too young for that. So that wasn't an option. Really, the only option was a transplant. So I had that on the 23rd of March. Perfect fit. The injury ended up being a little bit more significant than we thought. And so they ended up using a little bit bigger piece than we thought I was going to have, which is fine. I had also torn behind my patella. So that was repaired. That's actually a really easy repair. I've had that done before on the same knee. So I was actually walking that same day when I tore my patella and had it fixed. They had me walking from recovery out to my car because they really want you to put weight on it. This time, I'm not so lucky. So I am totally non-weight bearing at this point. The pain, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I have a very high pain tolerance, so I was only on pain meds for about a week and a half, and I was more than happy to come off of them. I was told that I would probably be on them a little bit longer term because bone injuries are kind of painful, and it's a pretty big bone to be dealing with, and I had a lot of work. So I was happy to come off those. I did have a complication that threw me for a loop, and kind of threw my physical therapist for a loop. Some sort of nerve injury not related to my surgery. It affected the top of my foot and actually the bottom, and it was incredibly painful when it started. And has taken, it's still not resolved. It was really unexpected. I never wish to experience it again. And it seems to be tied to some sort of compression injury. I don't have a brace on my knee, but for the first 2 weeks I had bandages, and I had like an ice machine that had a little bit of a compression factor to it, where and then over all that I had a compression stocking. So what they think may have happened was I compressed the nerve, not on the side where I had surgery, but on the other side of my knee, but it controls the foot. So I didn't have a lot of motor control in my toes for a little bit. And more concerning for me was the pain level from that. It's starting to resolve, which is good. It's still, I've done a lot of OT with it. So I tapped into some therapists that my children work with. One of them worked in an extremity clinic, and so we needed to desensitize this because we didn't know how long the injury would be there. We were pretty confident it would resolve. Some of it was going to resolve on its own, just healing. Some of it was going to resolve through desensitizing it to different textures, temperatures. I did some crazy stuff like putting my foot through like bins of Legos, putting my foot into like tall grass, putting my foot in like tubs of water with little things floating to kind of bump it so it's unexpected, rubbing a loofah on it. I mean, crazy stuff. Running it through coins, beans and rice, and then some of it was just telling my brain, suck it up. So I did a lot of that. It's feeling a lot better now, so not a lot of pain there throughout the day, but as the day wears on and I become a little more exhausted, that nerve pain increases, and I'm having a lot of involuntary movement that's pretty painful because it's not just my foot, it's my whole leg, and it was waking me up quite a bit. So I was having a hard time sleeping through it, and it was causing me to, suddenly move my knee, which was very painful. So it was a little unexpected, but I've been doing a lot of great work with my rehab team, and it's a lot slower than I thought it would be. They told me it would be, recovery would look like a series of spirals downward, with not a lot of progress in between. I was pretty sure they were talking about someone other than me. Apparently I was wrong. They were talking about me. And so that was I was struggling with that a little bit. Well, a lot last week. Not wanting to go to PT, but knowing I had to. One of the things I really love is being active. And so, looking at all that beautiful equipment in the gym that I wasn't allowed to access was hard. But I have a great PT who's just he's really been good about walking me through what it's going to look like, preparing me well for surgery because I saw him before, and telling me what's coming up. So, like, I saw him on Thursday, I think. No, I saw him on Friday. And so he said, next week the goal is we're going to get you to do like a partial straight leg raise. That's the goal for next week. And it's so minor, but it's such a huge thing in terms of recovery. I'm almost 5 weeks post-surgery, and I'm just starting to work on a partial straight leg raise. So it's, I really was hoping that it would go faster, but it's a very long-term recovery. There's a ton of atrophy and damage from before that, I was behind the 8 ball when I had my surgery. But I feel good. And this week my outlook has definitely improved. That 3-week post-surgery is I think for a lot of people having surgery, 3 weeks is kind of that magical week where things kind of crash. And I didn't expect the crash. So my goal going forward is, I had mentioned before surgery, this podcast is something I really enjoy doing, but it's also something to kind of give me a really fun activity while I'm recovering and I'm down, because I am not a sedentary person at all. I mentioned before, I really enjoy rock climbing and hiking and being really active. So, you know, over 4 weeks post-surgery, and I finally went to my first knitting group yesterday by myself. My husband was confident enough and comfortable enough to entrust me with my friends. They've been here to visit me, but I think he's been really protective. And so he drove me to knitting and walked me in and set me up, and with instructions not to do anything and to stay put, and I did. So that was the first time I was really out of the house without, family there to support me. I had an outing. My other outing on my own was last Saturday. My husband and mother-in-law went to do the grocery shopping, and I was going stir crazy. Like, I was not having any of this, because where you're seeing me is on my bed, and I am spending most of my day here. Because I have a pretty meaty rehab schedule, but also when I'm up more than a few minutes, I think I can do more than I can, and I tend to really overdo it the moment I feel good. So my PT just said bed rest until I tell you not. We had talked about, my emotional health is not happy on bed rest. And so he suggested, because he knows I like coffee, that my husband dropped me off at a coffee shop with a promise that I would take a pillow to keep my knee propped on, like my pillow and my knee and my calf, and if someone could be with me there, just in case I need, help. So my husband dropped my 13-year-old and I off at Starbucks, and I had my knitting, and he had his drawing and some books, and my mother-in-law and husband went to do the grocery shopping. So for an hour and a half, I got to sit in public, and it was weird. It was so weird. Everything was loud. Everything, there were so many people, and it smelled amazing, but it took me quite a bit to kind of adjust to being out. So, it's been a little bit of a shell shock to be back out in public, and that was a lot of fun. So I had a good time. So yeah, but other than that, things are going well. Knee's coming along. I'm probably healing well. We'll do an MRI in the next few months to make sure that I grafted well. I have 2 MRIs this year. One, I think he said 3 months post-surgery, and then one at a year, to make sure I haven't developed any, like, scar tissue or anything funky. I think. I can't exactly remember what he said for that 1-year one, but I will have 2 this year. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Knee's doing awesome, and feeling pretty good. So I think that's it. I've blathered on enough. I don't think I left anything off. I'm looking around my bed to see what else I've got here, and there's nothing. So I will see you soon. And thank you for joining me. Oh, one last thing. I do have a Ravelry group. Please feel free to post in there and join. I'd like that to be a little bit more active. We can talk about, like, what we're working on, introduce yourself. Like I said, if you have an Etsy shop or a business, please feel free to post that in the marketplace. If you're, if you have a shop, If you'd like to offer up a coupon code, that'd be awesome. You don't have to. There is no obligation to offer those at all, but you're welcome to. And yeah, that's it. So you can find me on Instagram as the Dirty Knitting Hippie and Ravelry as Tyler's mom, Chris. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.